Good morning. I am Nancy Alexander of Ladybug Wreaths, and I'm so excited to be talking to you today. I'm in Anderson, South Carolina, and it's colder today. We've had 70-degree days and 80-degree, that's a tongue twister, 80-degree days. But this morning, it's 45. It's supposed to get up in the 50s today. You can hear the birds singing outside my office window. They wake us up every morning. We've got so many birds. But after today, it's going to be getting warmer and warmer in the 70s and in the 80s, and I'm so happy. I'm sorry for those of you who are still living in other parts of the country where it's going to be cold for a while. A lot of you kind of laugh and say I'm making fun of you when I'm talking about the warm weather here in the South. I don't mean to do that. I just know the cold weather is bad for my fibromyalgia, and I'm happy that our cold weather season doesn't last too long here. Okay, I want to talk to you about something very special today, something that all of my students ask me all the time. Is the market too saturated? Now, if you know me already, you know that I make and sell wreaths. I have sold different one-of-a-kind wreaths for a very, very long time. Hi, Kara. How are you? It's good to see you. My wreaths have always been different. They've always been unique. But when I started selling wreaths years ago, probably, 14 years ago, 15, I don't know, on eBay, I had a lot of competition. I looked at all of those wreaths. I looked at the prices the ladies were selling them for. And they were beautiful. Some of them were smaller and plainer and simpler and commanded a lower price. Some of them were very elaborate and expensive wreaths, and they sold for that. So I don't think that ever made me think I should not sell. I don't believe I ever thought, okay, the market's too saturated, so I'm going to do something else. Actually, I looked for my own style. It was already starting to emerge in everything that I did. So when I saw, good morning, Annette, when I saw other people's wreath designs and thought they were beautiful, I still knew that mine were different. I was already bringing nature into my wreaths. That had always been really important for me. As a child even, I worked out in the yard with my grandmother and with my dad, and I planted in the garden and I dug in the dirt and I played with worms and I pulled out odd looking sticks and saved them. And it was things like that that led me toward making more natural wreaths like mine are. I love putting mushrooms in my wreaths, odd shaped sticks that may have a little hook in it that I could set up a bird nest in. I love putting green sheet moss in my wreaths. And probably about 15, 16, 17 years ago, I started using honeysuckle in my wreaths. The girl that makes my wreaths for me, my wild birch wreaths, lives up in the hills of Kentucky, 9 hours from me. She harvests the birch and the beech sticks and makes my wreaths, and they're really wild and woodsy and airy. And one day when she drove down to bring me my wreaths, she had a big roll of something that was a lighter color. And of course, it immediately sparked my interest. She said, while I was out getting sticks to make your wreaths, I saw some honeysuckle in the tree. So I cut it and pulled it down and rolled it up. See what you can do with it. Well, that just started another natural element that I started adding to my wreaths. I loved it that honeysuckle was a whiter color than the sticks in my wreaths. I loved it that it was curly and soft, and I could twist it and curl it and, hi Janet, and make a lot of loops and curls. Some of the loops would hold pots, some of them would hold a bird nest, or I would just make a couple of loops across the middle of my wreath, or have a long loop hanging down and back up. Hey Sandra, good to see you. It was just so much fun. I was playing with something new and natural that I could put in my wreaths that would make my wreaths different and would make them stand out far above anybody else's. Now, the first wreath that I made with honeysuckle, I believe it might have hung on the wall for an hour. I put a higher price on it because I knew it was different. I knew it was unique, and I loved it. Honestly, I didn't want it to sell quickly, but it sold in less than an hour. So what I'm getting at with you this morning is my customers, my ladies in my inner circle, still ask me all the time, is the market saturated? Can I sell my wreaths online? There's so many people selling them, and they're beautiful wreaths. Yeah, they are. There are a lot of people selling wreaths. They are beautiful. There are a lot of people who want wreaths on their doors. When you're selling on the internet, you are reaching, oh my gosh, you're reaching hundreds of thousands of people all over the United States and even the world if you choose to market to the world, and I have done that. Hey Jennifer, good to see you. I want you to realize the market is never, ever too saturated. Whether or not you can make a go of selling your handmade item online depends on you. You need to be unique. You need to be different. You need to, and I'm not saying to copy me. Of course, you can if you want to, because I've got books out there everywhere that show you what I do. I'm just saying, find your style. And that's something else that I teach in my books and in my classes. At first, the ladies that are working with me copy my wreath exactly. Every flower in the same place, every color in the same place. Hey Joyce, good morning, good to see you. And that's fine, that's good. You have to learn somehow. But after you've copied someone that you like their style and that you admire for a while, thoughts start coming through your brain, going in and out, and you start, while you're putting glue on a stem and sticking it in, you're thinking, I wonder how it would look if I did this. Now, I don't want you to stop those thoughts. When that thought comes and you say, I wonder, I don't want you to say, nah, that wouldn't work for me. This is tried and proven. I'm going to do this. I want you to be open. I want you to have your mind open. I want you to let your mind wander and your thoughts wander to your ideas and your style, because that is what's going to make you stand out above anybody else that sells online. I think that if I had to come up with one secret, one thing that made my wreaths stand out and start selling so quickly and so fast. Hey, Angelique, nice to see you. I think if there's one thing that I had to choose that made the difference for me in the beginning, was that my wreaths were different. My wreaths had stuff in them that nobody had ever seen before. And they were wild. I didn't like these little tight formed, perfectly circled round wreaths. Mine may go a little bit that way or a little curve a little bit that way, but when I was putting my flowers and my greenery in, that was okay, because as I worked through my style and as I figured out what my style was, hey Carol, I realized, this is good. I can work around this. I don't need a perfectly shaped wreath. I don't need an oval, and I don't need a round. If it's crooked, okay, that's good. I'll bring my bow up this way a little bit to take care of that, or I'll bring some flowers down this way a little bit. I'll put my greens or my tall grasses out in one direction where I don't in the other. That, I believe, is what made my wreaths grow to be so popular so quickly. Now, I'm talking about wreaths this morning because I'm a wreath maker. But through my life, I have probably done every type of craft there is. And I loved them all. But I just ended up sticking with wreaths because that was me. I loved it more than other things. This same principle will apply to you no matter what you make. If you make a handmade item and sell it on the internet, look for something different. Come up with your own idea that can make yours stand out different, far above anybody else's. It doesn't have to be something huge. It can just be something tiny at first. Something that someone notices and says, oh, wow, that's different. I might like that. Now, at first, they may say, I'm not sure if I like that. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to look at it again. Excuse me, I'm going to get some water. The pollen's getting to me this morning. Hey, Michelle. That's just like any time a new style is introduced at the market. People have to get used to it. People look at it for a little while before they decide that oh, wow, they really, really do like it. I want you to think about that when you're creating your designs. Sometimes things need to grow on people in different parts of the country. When I used to go to the Atlanta market and I would go several times a year, but I would go in January, and I'd order for the entire year probably, even though I'd still go back. The show in January in Atlanta was the one where all of the new colors and styles and designs and products were announced. And sometimes when I would see something for the first time, I would turn my nose up. I did not like it. I'd think, what in the world are you thinking? Hey, Kara. Other times I would see something and I would fall in love with it immediately, so I'd order a bunch of it. Now, I didn't make that mistake too often because I found out in Anderson, South Carolina, it took a year or sometimes two for the new styles to get to us, where in New York or Boston or California, I don't know which states, that was already popular and people were loving it and buying it and using it. I'm telling you that just so you'll realize, if you come up with something unique and different that you want to use in your own style, be prepared if it doesn't go over immediately. People have to look at it for a little bit. They have to look at it if you're doing something different in a wreath, they may have to look at 4 or 5 or 6 different wreaths with that same unique, different thing in it, your unique, different style, before they suddenly decide, yeah, I've looked at several of these now. I really, really, really do like this. So I'm going to order that. And yeah, the price is more, but that's okay with me because the wreath hanging on my door right out front is going to be different than anybody else in my neighborhood. And people like to be different. They like to have something that their neighbors don't have. They like for someone to ride by. They like to see a car stop or slow down, and they're peering through the window, looking at their door and thinking, what is that? They love for friends or neighbors to come up, knock on their door, ring their doorbell, and when you open the door, they're not ready to come in because they're still looking at what you have on your door and trying to figure out, okay, why is that different? What is it about that I like? What is it about that is unique? You can be unique. You can be different. You can be your own person. Yeah, I took a chance filling my wreaths with honeysuckle and bird's nests and different types of moss and lichen and mushrooms. And oh gosh, at one point I was ordering probably 25 different types of mosses and lichen, all the stuff that grows on trees, that's different colors and different textures. And I was putting little bits of that here and there in my wreath. I loved it. My customers had to get used to they didn't quite catch on as quickly to that type material as they did to my loops of honeysuckle vine. But they eventually did, and they loved it. And mine were different. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about this morning. The market, no, it is not saturated. If you're thinking about selling wreaths or selling something else and everybody else and their brother and their sister is selling them, that's okay. I want you to find you in that design. I want you to let your mind wander. I want you to let God lead you to your own ideas that He's placed in your head. You know, He gave you that talent. And He would not have given you that talent if He was not going to give you a mind that could dream and could think up things that might look good. Now, sometimes they don't always look good. If they don't, move on and find something else. God gave you a desire. He gave you a talent. He gave you a dream. I want you to break out of that box. And I want you to try not to copy everybody else around you unless you're just doing it while you're learning the technique, while you're learning to make, or I say build, a really sturdy, well-made wreath. Copy somebody then. That's okay. If you see an idea you can copy the idea. But it has to have your own unique style along with it. So keep your eyes open. Look at pictures. Look online. If you see something you like, just dream about it a minute. Think about it a minute. And think, okay, I really like that. But I don't want to copy hers exactly. I want mine to be different. So what can I do to make mine different? You'll be surprised. You will be really surprised how your mind wanders and you come up with all these awesome ideas. Before you know it, people are going to be looking at your things, your wreaths, your designs, your style, and they'll say, oh, that's different. I really like it. Yeah, and they'll probably copy it for a while until they let their minds wander. And they come up with their own unique take on what you've already done. That's how new styles emerge. That's how new colors, and my dog's in there barking. That's how new styles happen. That's how all of these new wreaths suddenly pop up online, and you may see one that's different, and then it's a little more different, and then somebody else has done something else even better with the same basic premise. I want you to feel confidence in yourself and in your talent and in your mind and in your desires and in your dreams, that you can be the one who just steps right out and does it first. I don't want you to be afraid to do that. I don't know why I wasn't afraid to fill my wreath with all those loops and curls of honeysuckle. Actually, for a while, some of my honeysuckle vine was really, really small. So I made big loops back and forth and back and forth. And I made streamers. I made a bow out of a honeysuckle vine. And it was unique and it was different. So I hope I've got your minds wandering this morning. I hope I've got you thinking about what you can do that will be different and unique and only yours. Because that's really, really important. It's important for you to be a success, for you to grow and to sell online, and for you to be noticed. I have friends and followers now who tell me, I can see a wreath and I know it's yours before I even look. Or when I just sold them in Anderson, people would say, I went to my doctor's office today. Your wreath was hanging on the wall. I didn't ask them. I didn't have to, but I knew. That can be used so easily. All the good ideas are not taken, believe me. There are always going to be new ideas and designs and materials and colors. So keep your mind open and look for those. I've had a lot of people coming in while I've been talking away. I'm going to look and see if anybody has any questions. Let's see, we have Sonia here from Maine. Hey, Sonia. Sandy Thomas. Good morning, Sandy. Renee, good morning from Huntington, West Virginia. Donna from Knoxville, Netville. I can't read too good this morning. This is really small on my computer. From Texas. Donna from Texas. Tina from Michigan. Rita from, she says she's glad she finally caught me live. She never catches me live. Good, Rita. I'm glad. Olga from San Antonio. Kara says, great advice. I think Sandra from Columbia. Casper, Wyoming. Hi, Annette. I'm so glad all of you are with me this morning. Magnolia, Texas. Hey, Kim. It's great to have you with me. It's great to have you join me when I do a Facebook Live. Many of you have said you want me to let you know in advance when I'm going to do it. Well, this is like an inspiration thing for me. Yeah, I can plan it. I can set it up. I can set the time. But as most artists are, I have to do it when I'm inspired. Plus, sometimes my fibromyalgia is acting up, so I don't want to schedule something that I might not be able to follow through with. So when I'm feeling good and when I'm inspired, I love talking to you. I would love talking to you anyway. Renee says she can recognize my wreaths too. Thank you, Teresa. Okay, that's probably it for today, but I've got one announcement I want to tell you about. I know you've heard me telling you for a long time I was writing a new book, My Journey Through Fibromyalgia, Rumors, Ravages, and the Rescue. You're probably tired of hearing me say, it's coming, we're working on it, it's going to come out soon. Well, let me show you this. This is not for sale yet. It's not in the stores yet. This is my proof copy. I got 5 proofs. 5 of us are reading it. And some of my very special members in my group are reading it for me. We've read this thing so many times. We've edited this thing so many times. I don't want any mistakes to slip by before it's actually published. So you can see it front and back. I want to read you what my mentor, Jim Cockrum, wrote to put on the back of my book. I love to surround myself with people who challenge me, those rare souls who endure and persist, and eventually find a way to overcome seemingly impossible odds with determination and focus, and ignite something unique and special inside us. You simply can't have too many people like that in your life. Prepare to add Nancy to your list of champions. Her story is likely to destroy your excuses and procrastinations and inspire you to serve, build, and grow starting now. Nancy is living proof that business done correctly is virtuous and empowering, but she's as humble of a person as you'll ever meet. Jim Cockrum, Internet business coach and best-selling author of Silent Sales Machine. That means a lot to me, Jim Cockrum, that you wrote that to go on the back of my book. Jim has been a very special influence in my life. So I will let you know, I'm thinking 2 weeks or 3 at the most, it will be out there for sale, so you can buy it then. I hope you have an awesomely amazing day. I hope your weather is getting warmer like ours is. I want you to get out in your shop or your studio or your bedroom or your garage or wherever it is that you make your handmade designs. And I want you to pick up stuff all around you, things you've never used before. You just keep pushing aside. And I want you to play today. That's your homework. I want you to play. And I want you to come up with something that's very unique and different that only you have made. And then I want you to post your photos underneath this Facebook Live because I want to see them. Okay. Love you guys. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye.